This is probably something not a lot of people have really actually sat down and thought about. I was doing the clan reputation quests for Rodrigo, and of course they were dealing with the Great Will and the whole, like, cult movement. And I'm like, oh, what is this Great Will person or thing they, like, the Adamant Syndicate glorifies so much? Well, at first I was like, oh, they must be talking about Cryonia, or probably Siren himself, or probably the leader of the Adamant Syndicate. But here's the thing. I don't think it's a person or a thing. I don't think it actually exists. Well, get ready and get comfy. I am going to explain what the Great Will is, or what I think it is. I could be wrong. This is just a theory, a Dukesy theory. So, just sit down, relax, get your drink. If you have a snack, good for you. And we're gonna dive into this whole Adamant Syndicate mystery. Siren manipulates Sigmund by, pulling him astray from Dura's path by saying she doesn't care. He also did it with Novik, I think, because, he used Novik's deepest fear, which Novik's deepest fear was he secretly feared that he was wasting his life following Dura, and Dura never cared that if he did or not, and, he used that and said, Dura never cared about you, but the Great Will does, so give it all over. They were both older men, but he also used Yelena's death to manipulate Sigmund into doing it, and saying that the Great Will can bring Yelena back. And the Great Will basically surpassed Dura, and is more powerful. But I don't think the Great Will is a person or a god. I think the Great Will is actually the Adamant Syndicate's will. Their rebellion, their distrust in believing in an immortal. They don't think immortals should, run people's lives, have people dedicate their whole lives to these several immortals, throw away their hopes and dreams, throw away their desires, throw away everything for them. Because, Dura followers are very, you gotta follow Dura, Dura, Masarte, and wherever, if you don't believe in these gods, then screw you. Siren grew up in a noble Lightbearer family. His father was a noble lord. His brother was a famous knight, and they definitely neglected him. It literally says it right here. Siren grew up with, trust in Dura and, all that stuff. Though he, all on his own, became a mage, worked his way up the ranks. He was second to Merlin. That's pretty good, bro. And he did it all on his own without Dura. He forged his own path, forged his own journey. But I don't think forcing people to become corrupted and using their deepest, darkest insecurities and fears against them to turn them into a gigantic, snarling purple monster is a good way to tell people, hey, go follow your own journey. I think that we will eventually learn that we can forge our own journeys without relying on Dura. Also, the Adamant Syndicate teaming up with Hypogeans, because Hypogeans seem to share the same ideals. But Hypogeans are just as bad as the gods because they do love to prey on mortals. Foresto kind of knew what was going on.
Messing with the so-called gods you worship are not what
I do want to know what he was talking about. Why they are the so-called gods are not what you think. In my opinion, Hypogeans, Celestials, and the gods and the Adamant Syndicate, they're all wrong. I do think that the people of Asperia should go and follow their own will instead of, following and doing what immortals say. Well, I'm glad you came and watched this video. Comment down below what you think, what's your opinion, all of your thoughts. I would love to hear them. Go off, and I hope your day is full of Earmere. Bye.